FM for more exclusive content. Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. Voice of the Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugo, todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing hiding at tigil.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munchin' with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Okay na. In 3, 2, and 1. What's poppin'? And welcome to Popcorn with Paula Molina, your stop for all things pop, where we talk about all things pop culture from here in our houses in the Philippines and to the rest of the globe. Thank you to everyone who's back from whenever you're listening to our show. And of course, to everyone who's new here, welcome, welcome. We're happy you're here. You can listen to all our old episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Radyo Katipunan, and wherever you stream Popcorn. Before anything else, let's introduce our co-hosts for the day. Let's all welcome back Paula.
Hi.
Prince is also here.
Hello again.
Max is back. Hello. And Arby is here joining us after a while.
Hey guys!
Hello, hello. Medyo nag-break tayo for a while na naman because there's not much happening around pop culture because, ano pa rin, andito pa rin tayo. Every week na lang, andito pa rin tayo. Andito pa rin nangyayari. But, we keep going and we keep trying to survive and thrive through these situations. But before anything else, our kamustahan of the week is based on the US elections. Congratulations, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the President-elect and Vice President-elect of America. And that is pretty hopeful news for the rest of the globe. Well, it's another whole discussion that we're not going to talk about because this is not a political show. But given
despite our political rants every now and then.
That's true. I mean, despite our political opinions that we try to connect to our pop culture discussions. These are important things to talk about. But syempre, kamustahan of the week? What are you hopeful for, especially given that hopeful piece of news we got last week. I guess I will begin. Um, well, syempre, that's really good news. There's a lot of pros and cons to anything really, but it's very hopeful to see that people can come together to make change, or at least to try evil to stop evil from happening in that side
The
of the
worst
world.
evil. Yeah.
Yeah, the worst evil. There are still many evils out there, and at least sana man lang dito sa Philippines, I'm hopeful that something similar will happen, that people will really not think about the differences too much and just band together for the greater good. But, that's what hope is for, because that's something we have to work towards and not just hope about. So that's my answer for this week. Paula.
Okay. I guess I can go next. Um, as happy I am with the fact that Trump is will no longer be president despite his blatant refusal to concede. I would like to say that I do not like Joe Biden. Like in
Mm-hmm.
general, I just don't like him. He was never like my pick for the Democratic Party. That will always be Bernie Sanders.
Bernie,
Yes,
yes.
Bernie Sanders. I do not trust Kamala Harris either. I mean, like ACAB is ACAB, regardless of who is the face of the police force in any country. But defeating Trump, who is definitely a worse person by all means, is something to be happy about. And just seeing how Americans were celebrating all across the country was inspiring. And it was wonderful to see all those people kind of like banding together and something good at the very least, like happening in such a dark year. And if you try to put people down for feeling like that kind of happiness or that kind of hope, then it's not really nice. And I don't really understand the point to doing that. I understand like people have concerns, but let people enjoy like this moment, I guess. Like it's not a bad thing to be hopeful, as Cholo said. And the amount of times we said hope, I'm just playing that scene of Leia in Rogue
Aw.
One at the end of the movie. It's like hope. Yeah, but-
R.I.P. Queen.
yeah.
General, Queen, Princess. Well, I must agree with Paula. It's really, this year has really been about like the small wins over like collective super big wins for everyone, and that alone is something to be hopeful for. And yun na nga, parang why can't we just enjoy things as they are for now? We, of course, we will be critical when time comes that we need to be critical, but there are just some people who can't really like give a break to everyone else for just a few moments. So parang, it was a sigh of relief heard around the world, especially since it was a really tight race. But let's just savor these small wins of the year and think about the future a bit later on. So yeah, that's my comment lang on what to add to what Paula said. Max.
I think you guys have said it all about the US election. And I also don't feel like I'm in the position to comment about it much because I didn't follow it as intently as some people did. But I do think it is a step in the right direction because at least there will be good that'll come out of it. Like I know that Biden did assemble a COVID-19 team consisting of doctors. So that gives us a lot of hope and hope for healing because if they discover things they can share with the rest of the world or if they make systems that'll work in America and we know how the situation of COVID is in America, then it could give hope to the rest of the world because that's something that could be fixed. So there, I guess what I'm hopeful for is in 2021 we'll all find healing. And by healing, I mean emotionally from all the trauma that this year caused, and physically because the pandemic has lasted long enough. We need to heal.
That's so true. And speaking of vaccines, well, good news is that a trial run from Pfizer
Kaiser.
was 90% effective in their test run. So that's some good news for everyone, especially since the Philippines' only plan is to wait for a vaccine.
But also, we're not equipped to handle that much vaccine incoming.
Right away, diba?
Yeah.
So there's another problem.
So
Scary, but there's still hope. It's still a step.
it's still a small win again.
Mm-mm.
Spurns.
Bouncing on that, like it's really funny because just earlier kanina, knowing na Pfizer announced na 90% yung vaccine nila, Russia also announced that yung Sputnik 5, their vaccine naman is 92% effective.
Oh.
We're 2% more
Not to be
effective.
outdone.
So I was like, tawang-tawa. I was just laughing so hard. It's like, wow, they really had to butt it in a 92% siya. And they do it the day after Pfizer announced. So, okay, fine. Give it that win. But at least now we know there's more than one possible vaccine for us.
Yeah.
And like,
But it is a pharmaceutical race.
Yeah.
Like on a medical standpoint.
And then bouncing from what Max said, na 2021, something to be hopeful for is this year is almost coming to an end na, finally. Like, if you haven't realized, it's November already. Like, my gosh, where did all the time go? And so much horrible things have happened this year, but at least finally we can just hope na 2021 will be better. So, yun lang talaga, something to be hopeful for. And maybe just to reflect lang from the elections, like, okay, sure. But on a light side note, like what I really enjoy from the election is watching all the late show hosts and the content they come up with.
And Saturday Night Live.
And SNL, oh my
so
gosh.
So
good.
funny.
My God.
SNL was exceptional this
Ang bilis
Right.
ng turnover.
The writers are geniuses in all their content that they come up
And
with.
Jim Carrey as Joe
Unbelievable.
I was
Unbelievable.
amazing.
Great.
Alec
great.
Baldwin as Trump. He's been great since he
Great.
started.
I am fully. It's almost sad to think na it'll come to an end because Trump was such a good source of material. But
That's true.
Thank you for everything that they've given us, and I hope I get to enjoy it at least a little bit more while he still refuses to concede. So I'm still hopeful for that.
I feel like regardless of the fact that Trump will step down and all of that, he will still play like a pivotal role in any political commentary that SNL will do.
Yes.
And sobrang daming memes na lumabas from that election. From like, I mean, even
The
Big
fact
brand,
that
right?
Party in the USA and Bye 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 came back to chart in the States was already like hilarious to me.
Yeah, yun na nga. So, fun things. I'm not certain it's gonna be as fun here come in 2 years.
Scary.
It's gonna be really tough. But let's hope for the best. RB, last na bago tayo mag-start ng pop culture discussions of the week.
Okay, medyo kinakabahan lang ako kasi let me know if I get choppy ha kasi may internet's not bet.
Shopee!
Choppy 1111. But well, yun nga, because as like one of you have said, I haven't been following the US elections as closely. I mean, the most that I get from it, the most news that I get about the US elections is what I see on my feed. And aside from that, talking to my friends who are US citizens about it, like, oh, what do they think? If they're voting for Biden or not, stuff like that. But really, the bottom of it is like it was refreshing to see that it was a tight match, and I feel like that's something that a lot of Filipinos flagged in a way na super halaga pala ng bawat vote, because here you see talaga how tight of a match it was, and if it weren't for those votes, then Trump might have won.
Yeah.
So it reminds all of us to, of our responsibility to get registered and to vote during the day, when the day comes. Kasi even if we think na super
minuscule yung isang vote mo. I think it's what she's
kwenta
trying
ng
to
vote
say.
ko. I mean,
Yeah.
the general public want. But aside from
So RB is a bit
really,
choppy
if
right now.
Here comes the
Okay,
chop.
Yeah.
choppy pa rin ba?
Choppy na.
Oh,
Choppy pre-ship.
Okay, it's a little better now.
okay.
11.
Sige. Is it better na?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I just want to finish it bago ako maging Shopee uli. Ayun, super halaga talaga ng bawat vote. Kailangan mag-register tayo. Even though we don't face the same problem as the States. Like, I mean, hindi na pwede mag-run si Duterte uli. You know, all of our votes matter and it will help determine the future of the country. Kasi, you know, if we vote for another Duterte, edi, you know, dun sa votes natin. Honestly, I would like to admit, I wasn't able to register during the last one. So, isa ako sa mga may kasalanan. And I feel very bad. But aside from that, you know, this US elections really lit a fire under my ass because it reminded me of how important my vote was and how important it will be in 2022. So yun guys, register.
Yes, voter registration is open until September 2021, I believe.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you can I've seen a lot of stories of people registering even during the quarantine period. So it's not an excuse. And you have a whole year which will be super quick na lang then if come to think about it. So please do your part and let's all work together for a better future. Wow, that was an ad from Popcorn. So speaking of, so thank you for all of your hopeful anecdotes. We'll be trying to do some those prompts every week if it works out. But since this week there aren't much major happenings, we will just be having a short kwentuhan about popcorns and some stuff that were some news and like movies that were released recently. So let's begin with that. First, let us talk about that Disney Christmas ad, which got the whole Philippines trending on Twitter and Facebook. So it was a Christmas ad for Disney UK, but it
For the
was
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
yes, and it was set with main characters being Filipino migrants, and it showed like old Manila. I'm not sure if it was Manila, but old Philippines, 1940 ba, 1950.
1940.
Um, yeah, it just showed family tradition and Christmas um, in the Philippines, and that was really heartwarming. Obviously, it's already a yes for me because Paula messaged me right away. He was like, "Have you seen this?" I was like, "Yeah, I saw your tweet and I watched it right away." And that was like, wow. Just the fact that our culture is represented in such a big scale company and in the UK, which is sort of random, I think. Na
There
parang,
are a lot of Filipino immigrants in the United Kingdom kasi.
yeah.
They take up a big chunk of the immigrants in the UK.
Yeah, so ayun, parang just the very fact that we have canon, quote unquote canon Disney characters that are Filipino means, you know, representation is also on the way. And it's just beautiful, the story itself of the ad. And yeah, it's just like, I hope I mean, meron din pala yung Filipino sa float na
Oh yeah, float,
Nicholas
yeah.
short. So these Pinoy stories are emerging more and more. We were talking about Raya and the Last Dragon like a week ago, and we were like, oh, it's a hodgepodge of Asian cultures, Southeast Asian cultures. But now we see more specific representations, and that's really nice. So it's a yes, obviously. Paula?
I mean, I watched it 3 times and I cried all the times. Like, never show me anything with like a grandmother or a grandfather because, especially if it's like a Filipino one, because I will start sobbing like a little girl. Just what happened. Coming from someone who works in advertising, this was a very interesting piece of media for me this week. I absolutely love and hate the power that advertising has in terms of storytelling and what we put out in the world because ads have the widest reach across any media platforms. And to see our culture represented in like a worldwide scale was thrilling to say the least and a little overwhelming. Like I didn't really imagine how powerful it was. I mean, we talk about how important representation is, but given that we hardly ever see ourselves in these types of medias, I didn't imagine like just how much power it had until like I actually saw our culture in this kind of film. But yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's really great to see ourselves there. On another hand, I hate corporate manipulation, and that's what advertising is at the end of the day. As someone from advertising, that's what we do. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a yes. I loved it, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's interesting to note that the flags were upside down in this film, in this short film. It was the red that was up rather
I
than
didn't even
side.
see.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't notice.
my former boss pointed it out, and it was interesting because it's set in 1940, which means it wasn't the Japanese occupation yet, so it
Oh.
shouldn't have been red. But you know, just an interesting factoid, I guess.
And it just kind of came out of nowhere. So everyone was like super shocked it was happening.
Yeah.
Parang walang teaser, it just like dropped.
Mm.
That was really cute and really heartwarming.
I also love that it was the parol at the center of the film. If there's
Mhm.
any Filipino
Yeah.
Christmas decoration that I love more than anything else, and because Cholo and I come from Pampanga, where it's like the parol capital of the Philippines, it's such an important aspect of Christmas. And
And you know what's really nice about that? My Philam cousin just randomly tweeted me, "Have you seen this?" And she was asking me, "Do I have to start making these star thingies now?" She called it star thingies. Well, she's probably not aware kasi talaga of what paroles probably are. So it's nice to have um, migrant Filipinos who didn't grow up here be more curious about our own traditions because of this ad, such as my cousin na parang she may pamangkin na ako, like she just gave birth like a year ago. So parang she was like, do I have to, is this something I have to teach my daughter now? I was like, yeah, definitely. So it was just really nice to see how the impact right away, especially to people who aren't here. Yeah. So
oh, and I think it was like 100% fitting that it was a Christmas ad, given how rich our Christmas traditions and culture is in
Mhm.
comparison to a lot of countries.
yeah. So next, Max.
Exactly. We're the Christmas capital of the world.
Well, look at Max's room. She is in Christmasville. Joke.
I'm the target market of Disney Christmas. Anyway, you know, I only watched it once because after that one time I was bawling. Like I was so hardcore crying. So I was like, okay, I can't watch it again. So I wasn't able to pick up on the small details. But now I want to watch it again because I want to see the flag. But at the same time I'm scared because I don't want to cry. But
We need a reaction video, please.
my next live stream, hello. So I'll be live streaming crying over the Disney.
Do it,
Video.
please. Record it and then like i-ano mo siya, yung real time na may lumalabas pa doon.
We'll do a joint IG live and we'll see who cries first.
Yan.
Well, I don't cry in these things, so
Cholo
Oh, you
hardly ever
will.
Cholo
cries.
doesn't
You
cry,
will, you
period.
will.
Cholo doesn't cry, period.
Cholo doesn't
Wow.
cry.
I'm being roasted again. My gosh.
Okay, well,
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Cholo's roasting on an open fire. Okay. Anyway, so what hit me about it was actually I have a lot of friends who study abroad or who live abroad, family who live abroad, and they were all like they loved it so much because they could relate to how like a grandmother from the Philippines is sometimes your only source of the Filipino culture and stories, and the things that they know about Filipino culture they know because of their parents and grandparents, and that made it like even sweeter for them. And then I found it cute that one of the other central things of the video was the Mickey Mouse, like with the ear, because clearly I love stuffed toys. I mean, look, like it brings so much sentimentality, and it was such a full circle thing when the ear fell off and was stitched back on. So I really love it. I just love Disney. They really know how to tug at the heartstrings, and I can't believe nothing Disney has ever made you cry. I mean, come on.
Nothing, period.
Nothing
Thing
that's made.
at all.
No piece of media has made Cholo
Ngayon
cry.
naman, I shed a tear in Toy Story 3.
Shed a tear. It's
Yeah,
Disney.
it's not like full on crying.
Disney still pulled at your heartstring. Well, anyway, that's it for me.
RB.
Well, as someone na pinanood lang siya mga 20 minutes.
A resident crammer.
In those 5 minutes, dun sa 3 minute film that I watched, and then the 2 minutes I spent reading ang Beth Ocampo's article on it, ang galing na napagkasya ko pa. For one, actually,
She came prepared.
super kabado ako kasi it's Disney. Girl, I was prepared. As in, girl, if you stay ready, you gotta get ready.
Get ready. Mm.
So when I watched it, kinakabahan ako because, unlike Cholo, naiiyak talaga ako sa mga Disney stuff. And then when I saw na it was a grandma and grandkid kind of relationship, kabang-kaba ako. I was like, oh my God, is the grandmother gonna pass away? Kasi feel ko hahagulgul ako pag namatay yung grandma. Oh my God, spoiler na pala to. Bayan mo na. I haven't watched. I'm sorry. I forgot to, tell you all na my spoilers. But yeah, I was actually expecting myself to cry then. I was surprised na I didn't. Maybe because I was expecting something grave, worse that would happen, like the grandma passing away.
Pinatay mo naman, grabe ka.
Girl, as in ako nandun na ako sa future. Alam ko na But really what I want to talk about here is yung Beth article that I read, 20 minutes ago. It was really nice. It was masagad ng trip. And then it was about...
What was it about? What did he say?
Yeah, it was about gatekeeping Filipino culture because parang doon na how yung suspension of disbelief whenever a piece of fiction comes up, kailangan hindi tayo super strict about the reality because it would lose the magic of the fiction.
Yep.
So, sobrang dami daw kasing lumabas ng mga Filipinos or Phil-Ams na nagsasabi na, this piece isn't accurate because first of all, yung jeepney na lumabas dun sa first 10 seconds of the film, wala pang jeepneys dapat ng 1940. And then finlagyan ni Beth Ocampo na, these people seriously are just looking for something to hate on because the jeepney act, if you actually researched better, appeared in the 10-second mark was actually an older, a motorized kalesa. It wasn't modeled after the American jeepneys, but on the motorized kalesa. So that's number one. So like, read your readings first before you bash.
Check Beth Ocampo. Damn.
Check the label, di ba,
Yeah, check
Arby?
yourself. Trebek yourself. Later na si Alex Trebek. Pero, sorry.
Sis.
I love you, sir. Kami kung sinasabi, ganun talaga pag natatakot ma-choppy at any moment. And then the second thing that Beth Ocampo also flagged was I forgot it. Pero there was another thing that he flagged na people were being super hard on na hindi daw accurate yon pero dapat daw check yung sources. Anyway, it's about that. And then Beth just really wanted to say na this piece is actually not for those people who are hating it, but for those people who need it. Especially nga like, to Max's point and to Paula's point na may mga friends tayo from overseas and then they're just yearning for a piece of themselves na parang hindi pa nila masyado nakikilala. And through this piece, or through this short film, they were able to get to know a part of themselves they didn't know they should know. Like what a star thingy is or should I put these things up? It reminds us of a part of ourselves that we don't know yet. And I think that's really nice for Disney to do something like that. And it's a very big deal for Filipinos. So, oh my God, Pinoy ako, Pinoy yung thing, Pinoy tayo together. It's a very nice thing to see a part of yourself reflected on pop culture and on mass media. That's not the Philippines, because it came from the UK. So, yeah, people should really stop gatekeeping these things and just let people enjoy stuff. Stop gatekeeping stuff and then let other people discover what Filipino culture is like in the 1940s and in 2000s. So that's it for my cram session.
So something I want to add really quickly lang is you can tell how much love there was, like how much love was put into this material. It wasn't just because I still think there's a little bit of it, Disney trying to sell us stuff because at the end of the day, that's what ads are for. But there was a lot of heart in it, and you could tell that a Filipino was behind this. A lot of Filipinos helped make it, and that's something definitely for us to be proud of and to be happy about.
And apparently, some Americans or white people thought that the Lola's name was Lola.
Was Lola, yeah. Common occurrence in the state.
Can you blame them?
Well, there are people named Lola, so we can't really blame them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess people just have to teach them the right ways. Just
Yeah.
like Paula taught someone that there aren't such things as Asian Filipino names.
Ay, Lord.
And lastly,
Sabi
Kern.
yun, that boy is wala, hindi siya
So white.
so
So white.
So white pala siya. Okay, so on my part, sorry nawala ako kanina kasi nag-brown out sa bahay ko. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Napansin ko
Yeah.
ba't dumilim, tas nawala.
Oh, I thought your lights
Yeah.
just you just turned off the lights or something.
No, nag-brown out bigla. So I didn't hear a lot of what Paula said. So sorry na lang if I
Wala.
repeat anything.
It's fine.
Pero bouncing on what you did recently said, forget the part na it's Disney, being Disney, and making this kind of stuff. It's actually I'm amazed na how this video is very well made and very well researched.
Yeah.
On a creative note,
That's right.
from a creative point of view, ang galing niya. Like I've never seen knowing na kasi syempre tayo bilang Filipino, we will know if it's right or not. And they actually did get a lot of things right.
Yeah.
And enough to earn our respect. And they did it so nicely. Like I haven't seen any Disney like this kind of animation with this kind of yung features nila. I've never seen Disney do that before. So it's definitely a step up. And grabe, it's nakakaaliw talaga siya. Like siguro the biggest thing I'm concerned about is why but mas malaki yung ulo ng bata sa tatay niya. That's it. Like that's all
Actually,
I'm
the first thing that I
Sure.
thought about also.
as in yun talaga. That's the only thing I was mad about. But everything else I was happy. Like it's us being it's showing how big Christmas is in the Philippines because it really is.
How big the Lola's head is.
And how big the Lola's. Grabe. As in yun talaga.
Funko Pop.
Funko Pop ulo siya. Oh my gosh. Pero as in,
Merchandise, branding.
yeah. I mean that's what I'm pretty sure Disney is gonna sell Lola heads because I mean that vintage
Limited edition
Lola.
Yeah.
Lola Funko
Lola
Pop with Carol.
because Disney's already selling that vintage Mickey Mouse because they did sell that back in the 1940s but now they're selling it again sakto with the stitched up ear.
Yeah, and
So-
all of or at least majority of the proceeds go to Make-A-Wish.
And
if
they
I
go to Make-A-Wish.
remember.
So okay, I'll
Nice.
give. But still, Disney, I have my eye on you. You're not escaping this, but
Right?
I'll give you a pass this time because you actually did a good job. It was good for a good cause, and it's the holiday season naman. So thanks na lang. Thank you.
So wait, let me just check out joke and buy
And
that.
the doll. But Prince and I were talking with Emil on Twitter as well when this ad came out, and Emil made a really interesting build, if I would call it that, about. I mean, of course, Disney has to sell
Advertising yung
something.
build.
Yeah, I mean, Disney of course has to sell something, and in this case, it's the Mickey doll. But it was Emil said it would have been really interesting to see if the dad gave the Lola like just a regular Filipino doll, something that we could all like attach more to our culture, and then Disney things would watch her grow up and in turn like watch the granddaughter grow up talks about how Disney never leaves your life, or like it'll stay with you at any stage of your life. So that's another interesting take on it, just if Disney wasn't trying so hard to sell something to us.
But they were.
But they were, and they
They
always
were.
are.
That's why.
Guys,
They were. That's
That's why
why.
they
Boys.
exist.
toys and
Well-
merch make everything go round talaga. Like, just
Disney's never been subtle. Come on, let's not kid ourselves.
Trigger ako because I did an exact ad like sa Jollibee dati that just centered around a lolo giving his
Oh, diba?
Oh my
like
god.
a Jollibee doll.
Classic Paula.
Please watch that's like dedicated to my late grandfather, and the lolo there looks exactly like my lolo. So watch Ang Regalo by
Oh.
Super
Jollibee.
ganda. Award-winning. Congrats, Paula.
It's not. It's not.
You are
not that one.
award-winning regardless.
Thank you.
Anyway, let us move on to our next popcorn for the week, which is some Fantastic Beasts franchise news. Paula has a lot of feelings about Fantastic Beasts in general, as you can hear and watch from our Harry Potter episode. You can listen to that in our past episodes. But Johnny Depp is out as Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts series after he lost a libel case in the UK court against papers who called him a wife beater because of the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard controversy that happened in the past few years. And he has actually done 1 day of shooting and was asked to leave after. And the third Fantastic Beasts film is still filming right now with Jude Law and Eddie
Eddie
Redmayne already shooting their scenes. We're not sure what's gonna happen in that third film yet, but
They have a slated release date already also.
Yeah, they
Uh-huh.
updated it na.
Yeah.
so yeah. With that, Mads Mikkelsen is in talks to be the person to replace Johnny Depp in the role of Grindelwald. So, what are your thoughts on this development?
Paula, you have to start because
Well,
I will start.
It's
you have a lot to
tradition.
say. Because you have a lot to say about it.
I mean, I have
Ako,
pretty...
I'm a sax for this. I'm not super attached to this franchise to begin with, but it's always sad for me when people get replaced in the middle of things.
Mhm.
Na parang, well, first of course the whole Johnny Depp issue is like sad on its own because of the Amber Heard element and her being found guilty about actually just making things up, right? And of course, that's really sad that Johnny Depp's career is also affected by it. But yun nga, parang I'm also saddened about, parang like in Sense8, second season, iba na yung Caffeo's character. It's just weird for me to see new actors playing characters I already know with like other actors, but we just have to suspend our disbelief when watching these things. And I really love Mads Mikkelsen in all of his other roles, Hannibal
in anything
especially.
he does.
Yeah, exactly.
In
So
anything that Mads
it's
Mikkelsen
pretty
does.
exciting to see what this will come out with in the third movie. So that yun lang pretty much are my thoughts on this. But our resident Potterhead might have a lot to say about this. So Paula.
I like how it's like a news segment. There's like a resident reporter, Paula Molina. Right? But in any case, like Cholo, I have basically lost interest in this particular franchise of the Wizarding World series, as it's now called. It's no longer just the Harry Potter series. Mostly because I don't care for the story anymore. And to be quite honest, I never really liked Johnny Depp as Grindelwald anyway, especially with the way that they made him look in this particular series. Because Johnny
Okay.
Depp is an attractive man. So why would you do this to him? Especially knowing that Dumbledore and Grindelwald had something together. I'm like, no way
How
in
could you
hell would
believe?
Jude Law's Dumbledore
Fell in
be
love
in
with that.
love with that Grindelwald, right? But in any case, um,
The BL
Um,
series that we want.
no, that's okay. I'm not a Dumbledore stan. I would rather a Remus and Sirius BL series.
Ooh.
But anyway, what makes me upset though is that Johnny Depp lost his role because of this case, but Amber Heard still retains her role as Megara in Warner Brothers. Same studio, and she is still slated for Aquaman 2. She is still going to be in the Snyder cut of the Justice League film. So what's frustrating to me is that it's not fair. It's literally not fair. Like just
Mhm.
seeing that, and I don't know. I am all for the Times Up movement and anything similar to that. And with that, we have to believe not just our women, but the men who come forward with these concerns as well. Because if we can't have that, then we're not actually achieving the equality that we're fighting for.
Yes.
So if we want to believe our women, then we must also believe these men. Diba? Like it happens as well, albeit not as often, definitely not as often. But when it does happen, why should we choose not to believe them? So there's that. It's really my take for this. I'm very disappointed in Warner Brothers in general for all of this. If they take out Amber Heard, then maybe I'll feel a little bit better about this whole situation. But they haven't even released a statement regarding this, and that's
Mhm.
Introducing who could replace her? Olivia Munn as Mera.
TBH. There's a lot of people who could play Mara. Like,
Who else?
Maraming pwede. It's
Yeah.
easy.
The latest to pick I saw was Emilia Clarke. Like people
I
went
was
as
gonna
far
say
as
Emilia
editing
Clarke
her
also.
so that would
role.
be pretty good.
Pwede.
I can see it.
Pwede.
Purns.
Okay, for me, I'd like to say I'm still invested because I did grow up with Harry Potter as well, even though I'm not as attached now. But I do follow talaga. But I did share this on my social media before. I knew this was coming now when the issues between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard happened. Like it was really inevitable that the more this issue escalates, the more that Warner Brothers will take action. So I wasn't surprised when they said na Johnny Depp was off the project. But I did like na they asked him to resign to leave. So I guess in a way maybe it's true like what Max said off air na what maybe he didn't like being Grindelwald anyway.
Why the
And
exposure?
so maybe that's why. Pero it is still kind of sad na he had to lose his job for Warner Brothers yun nga, while Amber Heard is still in the slated for her roles.
Yeah.
How I see it though is I was pretty sure she was not gonna be replaced sa Snyder Cut. I'm pretty sure she was gonna stay there because
Yeah.
that has so much problems going with it anyway. They can't make any last minute
It's
decisions.
true.
But it does make me angry na ako man to siya pa rin. So Warner Brothers has to come up with a reason and a statement for a full-on explanation for why they themselves asked Johnny Depp and why they will
Not
still
Amber Heard,
and why they will still continue with Amber Heard.
right?
So the ball's in their hands now. So let's see what
Because
they're gonna do.
Amber Heard lost her case as well in the United States. So it's
Mhm.
just
Ay, tapos,
weird.
isn't it ongoing pa? That the one in the United States?
Is it? But I remember there being a resolution na.
Ang alam ko, tapos na yung sa UK against the Sun, but Johnny Depp will still appeal. But the one in the US, na it's between the two of them, is still ongoing.
Okay.
So that's what they're waiting for.
Got fact checked by
Yeah,
our
that's what I remember.
journalist.
Yeah.
By our resident journalist.
I love it. But yeah, if like for example, Amber Heard is deemed guilty by the court of law in the United States, then there is absolutely no reason
Yep.
for Warner Brothers to keep
Yep.
her on.
They have to. And by then, Johnny Depp can't come back, but it's fine. But they have to make the right moves na.
It's
And also-
only fair.
Yeah, it's only fair. And it kind of makes me sad that Johnny Depp lost the libel case because I read through it, and if you think about it, in a way tama because he was called a wife beater. Did he beat his wife? Yes. So I guess that's the reason why he lost because he did beat his wife. Yun
The
lang
son is
feeling ko yun yung reasoning.
notorious
So
talaga.
I was like, whatever na lang. I just want him to win the US case na lang.
Same.
Okay, so now knowing that Johnny Depp is not going to be in the role, Mads Mikkelsen, I'm for it. I love him. I love his work. He really does fit the part. But ayun nga, I did say na I would like to see Colin Farrell come back because I did enjoy him sa first one. Like I like him because he's a good actor.
Same.
I'm for
Surprise!
that.
I'm coming back to my old face. That's
Yeah.
another
It
fake
was so
face.
weird naman din talaga. I don't know.
He pulls off a mask again and it was him all this
Yeah.
time. He's like, sorry guys.
Oh, I just
Double
wanted to
whammy.
try that skin on the last movie.
So my number one is still Colin Farrell. Number two is Mads Mikkelsen. What my sister pointed out.
What if he's a
kanina
Time
lang.
Lord and can change his
Ooh,
face?
Yeah, maybe.
Cross
He's a
He's a
Time Lord.
Gallifreyan.
My sister pointed out kanina if Colin Farrell might not come back because he's still shooting the Batman. But from what I know is Batman comes out 2021, the new Fantastic Beasts come out 2022, di ba tama,
22.
Paula? So there is still time. So I can still hope that Colin Farrell can be called back, if not Mads Mikkelsen.
Or Grindelwald is a Time
Yeah.
Lord who can change faces. So in the fourth film, she's a woman. Na.
I'm just
And then-
hoping that by the third film, like, what's his name? Oh my god, who plays the Flash?
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, Ezra Miller is no longer a Dumbledore because that plot
nako.
was dumb as hell.
Whatever.
So that's all I'm hoping for if the
Yeah.
series should continue.
And just before I end lang, my friend Marga commented on my Facebook post saying na Nikolai Coster-Waldau is another choice for...
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Okay lang sa akin. I
Yes.
do love him. But for me lang, he is too gorgeous to
No,
play
but
Grindelwald.
Grindelwald is
Okay,
attractive.
he is attractive, but I feel like Nikolai is too gorgeous. Like, too gorgeous lang. Like, he's
Then
Well,
we
it's
have
Hollywood.
Jude Law and Nikolai. Like,
Can't
that
we
is
get
the
it
PL
all?
we want. That
Actually,
is the PL I want.
And to end lang, Paula, you said, no, why would Jude Law fall in love with Johnny Depp Grindelwald? What I think in my head lang is Jude Law fell in love with Jamie Campbell Bower Grindelwald.
Oh,
That's
yes.
it.
That's what I was thinking
That's
also.
it. That's yun lang yung reasoning ko.
Yes.
So, yeah. That's my say on Grindelwald. Justice for Johnny Depp.
Okay, thanks, Ferns and Max.
You know
Our
what?
resident Macne. Macne. Joke. Youngest person.
You know, the past two have said so much. And like I would take note of things that they said. And now they're both done. I'm like, wow, okay, wait, that was a lot. So first, oh god. My turn for a
Choppy.
hello.
Hello.
My turn for brown out.
Lol.
Sige, dun muna tayo
My
sa
turn for brown
sponsor of the night, Miss Arby from the bank. Joke from the bank.
Huwag na lang nating pangalanan yung bank. Pero, kinakabahan ako. Parang, as in, iniisa-isa na tayong nag-choppy. Cholo next. But I'm not, I'm not a super big fan of Fantastic Beasts. Actually, I hate admitting this, but I haven't even watched all of the Harry Potter movies yet. Like, I haven't watched Order of the Phoenix.
That's
And-
okay.
And both Deathly Hollows. As
That's
in,
okay.
ganun.
Is it
Fine.
though?
I've heard worse.
Nalipasa na kasi
I've
ako
heard
ng
worse.
pad, and then parang never ko nang naisip na, hahabol ako, parang ayun, napagod na ako. Like Game of Thrones. But, well, let's just focus on the Johnny Depp issue here. I'm not really sure what is happening in terms of cases. Pero from what I know, it's that Johnny Depp is the victim and then Amber Heard is abusing him. And not a lot of people are believing or standing with Johnny because, domestic violence against men apparently is not as popular or not as common as domestic violence against women. And then yun nga, there are still some people, bakit kaya ganon, who still think na, oh, he's a man. How can he be a victim of domestic violence? Which doesn't make any sense because domestic violence has no gender and has no sex. It can attack anyone. Alam mo yun? Like, if the person is mean and if the person has bad intentions, then they can still be your abuser, regardless of if they're a man or a woman. So I'm just very sad, especially to hear na he was, actually, I still haven't figured it out kung bakit siya natanggal dun sa Fantasy Beasts. I haven't read about it, but if he's the victim and then it seems like siya pa yung nawawalan, or ang weird and ang sad.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, you're the one na nga who got hurt and then you're the one pa who's getting, parang ikaw pa yung kinukunan ng privileges or ikaw pa yung pinapunish. Tapos ikaw na nga yung nag-speak out. Tapos hindi ka pa kinakampihan just because you're a man on this side of things. It's very strange and it's not good. So I appreciate that a lot of people are making this more known. Parang more people are talking about it. The domestic violence has no sex nor gender, nor gender, and a lot of people can be a victim of it. It's always nice that that these issues are being talked about more versus the past. It's just sad na it has to come at the expense of someone like Johnny Depp. So ayun lang.
And what more other people who aren't Johnny Depp, right?
I know, right? Like, what about
That's
the non-privileged people or yung mga husbands na binabatter lang sila ng mga wife nila? What about the Filipino ones from lower income segments? Alam mo yun? Tapos they're not heard. Tapos yung mga tropa pa nila na old school mag-isip na parang ano ba yan? Ano ba yan pare? Parang parang grow some balls, stuff like that. It's so hard to hear. And it's always so hard to change that kind of perspective, especially for, I don't know, for men, I guess, because I feel like even the men, they find it hard or hindi nila ma-reconcile bakit nga ba ako ina-abuse and bakit ko siya hinahayaan and stuff like that. It's just very sad. I don't know. Ayun.
It's a sad. Uh, Lastly, Max.
Okay, I hope I don't get a brownout this time. But for me, like this news, like parang I'm very neutral about it because I wasn't very invested in the Fantastic Beasts series. Like I didn't even watch the second one. I only watched
Don't.
the first one. my let my image of Newt's commander stay like that. Okay, anyway, what I liked about the first one was I liked Eddie Redmayne. I liked the other actors, like but it wasn't. I didn't like it enough to get me invested enough to watch the second movie. And for me, that's saying something because I love Harry Potter. I mean, growing up, my mom made me watch all the movies and I loved it so much. I read all the books, like seriously, Potterhead since Pottermore days. Like I super, super love Harry Potter. So for me to not really get that invested in the Fantastic Beasts series, I was like, I don't know, there was just something about it. Like I couldn't connect to the characters as much as I could connect to the characters of the original Harry Potter. But anyway, that doesn't mean that I agree with Johnny Depp getting kicked out because I don't. Like, okay, I have not really seen him as Grindelwald except for like the back of his head in the first movie and like a little bit at the end. Yeah, it wasn't the best look, but like for me, I don't find it fair as everyone has mentioned. Like Warner Brothers is keeping Amber Heard but not Johnny Depp, who has proven himself innocent, or at least, well, Burns kind of fact checked me. He did beat Amber Heard, but I did not hear about that. But anyway, also on the topic of the Snyder Cut, I don't know if I'm getting cut, but on the topic of the Snyder Cut, they're doing reshoots right now with Amber Heard. So for me, if you have time to fix, like something like that, like you're doing reshoots, if you have time to fix that, wouldn't that also mean that you would have had time to replace the actor or the
To
scenes
fire
that
her.
needed Mera? No, I mean, okay, because if you ask me, both of them were convicted of beating the other up. And if you're going to punish one for doing that, you have to punish both because both of them have a case. So, like, as everyone said earlier, why just blame Johnny when Amber had something in this too? So, anyway, those Snyder Cut reshoots came as a surprise to a lot of people a few weeks ago because people were like, oh, I thought it was done and ready by January. But no, apparently, they called Jared Leto back, they called Amber Heard, and it'll be released later in 2021. So if you have that extra time, you can also use it for other things. You can get another Mera, or if let's say they did need to fire Amber Heard, they could change the story a bit since that seems to be what they're doing right now. So, but yeah, that's just me. Warner Brothers isn't going about this right. And I think maybe one reason why they don't want to fire Amber Heard is also because they're scared. Because like we mentioned a while ago, there are those preconceived notions na when a girl gets beaten up, everyone will accept like, okay, the girl gets beaten up. But when it's a guy, no one takes it as seriously as when it's a girl. So probably they're too scared to like do the same to Amber because she's a girl. And they're like, oh gosh, if we do something, like if we fire her, if we do something, what if it's negative for us? Like, what if it's what if it backfires badly on us? But then Johnny has presented enough proof to prove his case, so that shouldn't be the case. But not Warner Brothers.
Would also
Just
like to add that Johnny Depp also lost his role in the Pirates of the Caribbean series. They're continuing the series but
Mm-hmm.
without Jack Sparrow,
I
which
can't
oh
is
imagine that.
a shame.
well, he was the only thing keeping them alive, so
Exactly.
doesn't
Exactly.
doesn't
It
really
doesn't make
matter.
any
Pinok na
sense.
yung gagawin nila, di ba?
I've lost it already. Like after the latest one, I was like, there's no point watching this anymore.
Exactly. And the story of the latest one was already kind of like, okay, where did this come from? But you'd still watch it because you like Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. And then what I heard was they're going to pick it up with a female pirate, supposedly Margot Robbie. But for
Yeah.
me,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
nga
like
pala.
I like Margot Robbie, but for me, would it really be Pirates of the Caribbean without Jack Sparrow? Like I could accept a completely different pirate movie with Margot Robbie in the lead, or
I'd
a
watch that.
spin-off. Yeah, or a spin-off with Margot Robbie in the lead. But like you can't say that that's Pirates of the Caribbean without Jack Sparrow and Johnny Depp. It really just it really just wouldn't make
Doesn't make
sense.
sense.
Yeah, you'd feel the absence.
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
Such is life.
Yeah. So, speaking of sad news, we head on to our next piece of news from this week, which is the passing of our of Jeopardy host Alex Trebek. He was 80 years old, and he passed away from stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He was the host for almost 5 decades or 5 decades, and it saddened the world because, of course, Jeopardy is like a really popular game show known throughout the
Iconic.
world. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just obviously a sad thing to learn, especially this year na so many people passed away also.
Yeah.
And that's another blow in the industry, of course. So may he rest in peace.
Yeah. And Alex Trebek was one of those few celebrities that were just like pure
Wholesome.
and
Pure,
wholesome.
yeah.
And
Wholesome.
everybody loved him. There wasn't anyone who would say anything bad about
Yeah.
Alex Trebek. And someone who had ridiculously good comedic timing for a game show host. And he made me proud to be someone who knew a lot of trivia because a lot of it is useless, but it's just fun. And he inspires a lot of what I want to do when I'm, oh my gosh. Nag-brown out ba sa'yo, Arby?
Parang
We're getting hit.
nagparamdam si
By
Alex
what?
Trebek
Oh
kasi
my God,
pinagtawanan
Alex
ni
Trebek.
RB. Pinagtawanan daw kasi ni RB kanina. Kaya
Girl,
nagparamdam
first of all,
bigla.
big fan ako. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, nag-brown out.
Cholo, Paula, last one standing.
Sabi ko sa'yo, Cholo, ikaw na next.
Pinagtawanan
Yeah.
mo raw kasi kanina. But yeah, any other sentiments? Personally, I'm not a super huge Jeopardy fan, but you know, it's always part of the whole landscape of knowing what game shows are, watching game shows, being in your own. I mean, Paula likes to host Jeopardy style games all the time, so it's a sad. Yeah.
Ako, for me, I had a small, like when I was younger, I had a small Jeopardy face na, so late at night I would be watching Jeopardy sa TV lang. And it was fun, like learning all this random trivia. But when I learned na he had he was sick, and then it got really bad. Like parang it settled na okay, he might not live long.
Yeah.
But so it didn't hit me at hard when I finally learned that he passed away. But parang it really, parang everything got real na, oh, he's really, really gone. And it really surprised me to see how a lot of people really respected him na, wow, he was loved this much pala. Like not just as a good host, but as a really good person. So it feels really sad that we had to lose another great person, but at least we know that he'll always be remembered.
And that he was able to film all of the episodes for almost the rest of the year.
Yeah, he was.
His last episode will be on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he died 10 days after shooting those last few
Oh,
episodes.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did daw.
Yeah.
It's sad.
October 28 ata or 29.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to realize that the winner for the last Jeopardy game show that he hosted will come back, but he will not.
Oh.
Yeah. Guys, I love Jeopardy. Like, if you can't tell, I love it so much.
Yeah,
Well, Jeopardy
I
is
love
streaming
Jeopardy
on
too, pero-
Netflix. Also,
Oh,
really?
yeah, ever
Would
since
wanna
lumabas
watch.
siya sa Netflix.
It's on
that-
Netflix.
It's fine.
Oh,
I don't
damn. Okay.
want
So,
Huh?
hello Netflix again. and again.
Netflix, baka naman.
Baka naman talaga.
The man.
Any last sentiments on this?
Okay enough.
He left really big shoes to fill, and like it really shows you that he's a strong person. Like I didn't know that I didn't know that he was sick, but then knowing that he filmed his episodes while sick, like that tells you something about his character also. Like he really pushed through and finished, and then his last episode will be on Christmas. Plus, he's going to be leaving really big shoes to fill. I think in the hosting industry, he's one of the biggest names and the most iconic people. So we'll really feel the dent.
And he was on Drag Race.
Really? I
Really?
didn't know about that.
What?
Yes, and then
Yeah.
I watched few episodes sa Jeopardy na nagulat ako na si RuPaul yung nagsasabi ng question.
Yeah.
That was parang it was sobrang ganda. Ang galing.
Iconic.
Nag-end sila nag-crossover. I'm a very big Jeopardy fan din. I watch it while cooking. Alam mo yun, yung you wanna watch something na hindi mo pinapanood talaga. And
Yeah.
then you see from
yeah.
it. And then, may inside joke nga yung family ko. Kasi sometimes I'd watch Jeopardy in our sala. And then, I'd get some questions right, di ba? Tapos sasabihin ng nanay ko, ayan yung ate mo, mag-on ng Jeopardy. Tapos kunyari, nasasagutan niya. Pero actually, napanood niya na yung episode. tapos sasagutan niya para ma-impress tayo. So ako, grabe kayo. First of all, ang dami time.
Nakakaloka.
Yeah, I love Jeopardy talaga, grabe. Yun na nga, you gotta check yourself before you Trebek yourself.
Just like Arby earlier in the episode.
Ready today?
Okay, and we head on to our last two popcorns for the week. The next one is recently in music, or this week's or the past few weeks good stuff that came out of it. First, I would like to talk about Ben&Ben's new song, Di Ka Sayang, which is really, really good. I love the message, and it sounds fresh from Ben&Ben. I've always had, for the last few singles, thought na, oh, it's kind of starting to sound the same, and, you know, I want something different from them this time around. Lifetime was their last good song for me, and Di Ka Sayang was a good follow-up na something different, but something similar still that comes from them, and it really resonated with a lot of people. I think the intention of the song was to have more of an LGBT aspect. Di ka sayang, wag ka manghinayang, tanggap kita. But it really resonated with everyone else na, you know, in general, regardless of who you are, di ka sayang as a person. So, anyone else like this song or want to say something about this song?
I was going to say, removing the themes they intended, the whole concept of di ka sayang is something a lot of people need to hear right now because of the circumstances of feeling hopeless, especially. And then, like, I know a lot of people haven't been feeling well because, like, academically or at home, things haven't exactly been ideal. So to hear someone telling them di ka sayang means a lot.
And ang ganda ng isang comment about the song. It says na parang it's much more important to hear the words tanggap kita than mahal kita. Kasi mahal kita, you can love anyone, but tanggap kita, hindi ka naman tatanggapin ng lahat ng tao for the whole person that you are. And that was a really interesting comment on the song and the lyrics of being accepted versus being loved, because those are two different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, OPM news of the week, Ben&Ben's Di Ka Sayang. Any other thoughts? Okay, next. An unexpected collab from Queens. Miley Cyrus and Stevie Nicks have collaborated in the remix of Midnight Sky called Edge of Midnight, which is a mashup between Miley Cyrus's Midnight Sky and Stevie Nicks' Edge of 17. And that was just like great.
So
Nobody asked for it, but we got more than anything that we asked for this year.
So
I don't think we asked for anything we got this year, but here we are.
Here we are with the collab between these two legends. And, you know, with the popularity surge of Fleetwood Mac again, thanks to TikTok, it's just great na, you know, Stevie Nicks is back on the map, especially to younger people who aren't familiar with her.
yeah.
And collaborating with Miley just really shows also the artistry behind Miley, who's most often like overlooked by a lot of people as just some teen pop star of the past.
Yeah.
Paula?
I absolutely love this collab. I love that Miley is getting into this particular space of music because it suits her voice so phenomenally. And I think it's high time we get something like this from her, because my favorite Miley Cyrus era is bangers. Like straight up
Yes.
best Miley
Again and
era.
again. Bangers
Right?
for life.
Right. So I feel like it's the same kind of edge that she's giving with this new song, and this collaboration with Stevie Nicks is just the icing on top of an already good cake. So yeah, really, really happy that Miley's doing this. And Stevie Nicks knows how to pick her like young ones well. Like all of the younger artists that she's collaborated with, like, she knows how to pick them.
Ayun. Who else? Ferns? No one? Okay. Next song we're gonna talk about. I mean, Miley Cyrus's ano pala, this is released ahead of her upcoming album, Plastic Hearts, which will be out November 27.
Okay.
So, a lot to watch out for
Yeah.
in that album, especially with these new releases and all her rock performances recently. Next, we have Positions by Ariana Grande, which is her sixth album, and it was released end of October. Thoughts on this album? Personally, it's kind of a pass for me. There are great songs, but overall, it's not something I really raved about.
Yeah.
They're good songs. Positions is good. 34 plus 35 is a fun track, and POV is really good as well. But generally, it's not like a super good Ariana album. I think it's more for the fan base talaga niya than like a wider market that would like fully immerse themselves into it. So that's my take on that.
I agree. I don't think it was as cohesive an album as her previous ones. But there are good songs. They make good TikTok content, and
Yeah, it's true.
diba? And it's something I'm here for. I like seeing music used in these new kinds of mediums. So it's a sax. I think I enjoy it like a little more than Cholo does, but not as much as her
I
previous.
really tried. I listened to the
I
full
know you
thing
did,
like four
yeah.
times, I think.
I'm sure you did.
Pero wala talaga. And out of all albums to get a signed Ariana Grande album from, ito pa yung nakuha ko. So I just have to deal with it.
It's still a signed album.
It's
It's
still a
still
signed Ariana
signed.
Grande. So I guess I'm happy about that.
Very reluctantly, it seems.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this?
Sa akin lang, if it makes people happy, then good for them.
Yeah. You
Oh,
can
yeah,
enjoy
definitely.
whatever you want to enjoy.
Enjoy it lang. Want to make more TikToks? Okay, go ahead. Just have fun. Yun lang sa akin. My sister keeps playing it every day. Okay, fine. Just don't disturb me. Don't disturb me.
But also,
Yun lang, go
why
lang.
would Ariana Grande has the audacity to release an album all about intimacy when nobody can do it? So like, thank you for your service. Joke.
Oh well. It's a thought that counts na lang.
Good for her.
Good
That's
for
all I
her.
can say. Okay. And another album I really loved that was released recently was Disco by Kylie Minogue. That was like I couldn't stop dancing for like 2 days just listening to that album.
Yes, Cholo dancing. Yes.
Yes, in my own room.
Videos or it didn't happen.
Time for a TikTok.
Wala na eh, tapos na eh. So yeah, I'm recommending that. It's also I guess we're leading up to the last part. But before we end, our last popcorn is ito marami masasabi si Arby dito.
Take it away, Arby.
We're gonna
Ay,
have
look at
our short comments and reviews for the Netflix movie Hayop Ka. So RB, our resident joke,
Jologs.
Resident
our
Cholo.
resident Hayop Ka fan joke. Well, yeah. There was a lot of talk surrounding this movie on Twitter. We talked about it briefly in a past episode, and it came out on Netflix around 2 weeks ago as well. Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on this release specifically. For me, it's a sax leaning to a yes. because I just super loved the whole. I mean, the story itself is passable. It's not something unique, and it's kind of outdated. But if you look past that, um, its animation is just great. There's so many witty things happening in the
Yeah.
background, yung mga well thought about world building and puns and everything. And that alone, it's a short film, not even reaching an hour and 30 minutes. It's an hour and
10.
13 or
Yeah,
20
so
minutes.
short. An
It's
hour
really
10.
short.
Yeah.
So just parang knowing that Filipino people can achieve animation like this makes me excited for what else they could come out with. But I hope they come up with better stories to align with the animation next time. But I think RB has other thoughts about this.
Go RB.
I actually, when I saw it, I'm a sucker for good animation kasi. So like, I really loved how it was made. Ang ganda ng coloring, ang ganda ng, it was so cute. The characters were so cute. And then parang it reminded me kasi of Steven Universe animation. I'm a sucker for Steven Universe. Like the colors, ang galing. So I really liked it. And then the title, diba? Hayop Ka. That's my one of my top expressions kasi. So actually, I didn't find it on my own. But then people kept messaging me like, oh, RB, I remembered you sa movie. Sabi ko, grabe ka, hayop ka. So, and then, pero yun nga, si Ma'am busy, daming, wala akong time. A lot of people have been telling, you see it on social media na people don't want to watch it because it has Robin Padilla. Tapos, ako kasi, wala, kinain ako sistema ng korporasyon. So, hindi ako nakakapita. So, hindi ko gets ko ano problema kay Robin Padilla. As hindi ko alam na DDS siya. As in, nalaman ko lang afterward when I was talking to people na, and then people are like, oh, I was so iffy to watch it kasi DDS si Robin Padilla. So I was like, oh, talaga ba? Hindi ko alam. Pero I should have known kasi I knew na Mariel was DDS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Robin Padilla aside, I really enjoyed it.
No, but talking about Robin Padilla, I'm just gonna say, perfect pala sa kanya na nasa movie na yun because that character is trash. He deserves to be voiced by trash.
Oo, as in, grabe. Pero I mean, I felt like Nympha de Maano, the character was trashier. Kasi nga din, may sarili din siya mga mali. Anyway, but yeah, totoo, Robin Padilla was trash. What I said to my friend here, kasi I was selling the movie to all my friends. I was like, you should watch it. You'll remember me. As in, you would feel like you're watching me. Grabe, it's all about me. As in, nilagay ko dito.
Literally, I had a Netflix party with RB, and every time, shout out pala kay John Go kung nanonood ka ngayon or nakikinig ka ngayon. Every time, "Uy, RB, ikaw to." Literally talaga.
Yeah, they were like, uy, dapat ito hayop ka, the Arby Cuevas story. Kasi, real daw. Anyway, so, I'm not sure if, sino sa inyo naka-watch na?
I've seen it.
Okay. It was, anyway, for those who haven't watched it, if I may spoil, so it's Unapologetically Filipino. It's about this main character who is a cat. Her name is Nympha de Maano. And
Her
then,
name is Arby Cuevas pala.
her name is, itago natin sa pangalang Nympha de Maano. And then, she's torn between two boys. Na yung one of the boys, Askal, tapos he's janitor that Nympha de Maano works with in a mall. So very Filipino, di ba? Janitor, ta sales lady ng pabango, ganon. And then the other boy naman is this rich CEO na Siberian Husky. Tapos,
Milby.
kailangan i-emphasize na Siberian Husky siya kasi may breed versus the Askal boyfriend. So alam mo yun, parang she's torn between these two kasi hindi niya alam kung dun ba siya
sa komportableng buhay.
Comfortable siya or dun ba siya sa kung saan mas magiging comfortable yung future niya or something like that. Anyway, what I told my friends na I liked it because it's so absurdist and so Filipino and it was just a laugh trip. Like, it gets better and better throughout. Like, the jokes, grabe. As in, sobrang daming bastos and then sobrang daming bad words. And I don't know why I was laughing so hard. As in, maybe
ito kasi yung parang kwentong walang kwenta pero matutuwa ka naman.
As in, like, I compared it nga na, those times na you're with your group of friends and then nag-uusap kayo about nonsense tapos hindi nyo gets kung bakit pero tawan-tawa kayo sa isa't isa.
Oh, yun.
Makes sense what you're laughing about. Ayun. As in, that movie is that. So it was just a good time.
It's just nice to have a good time sometimes, diba?
Yeah, sometimes. Sana nga all the time.
Wala siya.
Oo, pero sobrang daming small details that I really liked about it. Like, there's this frog who is a valet. Tapos the name of the frog is
Si Jerry, di ba? Si Jerry.
Jerry po. Tapos ito nga, kasi etchoserang froglet si Jerry. Diba? Frog yung character niya literally. Tapos lagi niya chinichismis yung boss niya na si Sam Milby, the Siberian Husky. Like, oh sir, sino yung kasama niyo today? As in, very etchoserang froglet siya.
Super witty nga.
Ito nga, na-analyze ko na kasi nga 3 beses ko siya napanood.
Yan!
Kasi nga, it was such a good time. To be honest, I wanted to watch it with my foreign boylet. Kasi
Shout out mo na pa shoutout naman.
shout out dun sa foreign kong boylet na hindi ko matawag na anything else but a boylet kasi wala kami label. Grabe!
Oh my God.
I love
So
it.
like I said, like this movie, I'm unapologetically Pinoy also. Yeah, I wanted to share this with him because I thought na it was a good representation of what most popular, pop Filipino movies are like. Like, yun the premise na love story, tapos torn between two lovers, tapos isa siyang girl na from a lower income bracket, tapos gusto lang niya mag-climb ng ladder so that she could have a good future. Tapos meron siyang family back in the province, tapos siya nagpapaaral sa kapatid niya. It's very Pinoy. So I wanted to let this boy watch it because, it gives us it gives him a glimpse of what Filipino culture is like. So I really appreciated that. And then it was done in such a campy way. Kasi sobra, as in, the humor is so bad. Like, it's showtime, noontime comedy show level na humor na sobrang basura, but at the same time, natatawa ka kasi it's just so mababaw, it's funny. And then, the little things, like the actor, the main character's name is Nympharella, which is, in-extort sa movie, half nymph, kasi malandi siya, and then Cinderella, kasi gusto niya umangat dun sa income bracket. It's sobrang daming small details. Ganun talaga pag 3 beses mo na napanood.
She's a scholar of this movie.
Yeah, I've become a scholar talaga. Grabe, ibang level. I would watch it again. As in, again and again.
Manonood si Arby mamaya. Tingnan mo yan.
Pinatugtog yung Kuya Eddie. As in, sobrang labo talaga. Anyway, yeah, ayoko na. Mauubos yung oras.
Feeling ko mas natatawa ako sa pag-describe ni Arby dun sa movie kaysa dun sa movie.
Dapat, meron tayong watch party. Kasama
si Arby.
Pero,
Actually,
may live commentary dapat na hindi siya,
Si Arby lang yung pwedeng magsalita sa buong, sa buong watch party.
we were talking about that nga ni na Cholo while we were doing the watch party na kaming 3 lang with our friend John Go. Tapos we were just making comments. Tapos tawang-tawa kami. And then we were like, we should make a watch party or maybe going popcorn nga na episode. So, I don't know, let's make it happen.
Well, our episodes are 1 hour long anyway.
It's true.
Ay, nag-freeze na si Arby.
Tamang-tama, right on cue. And Max, I know you talked about this on your show. What are your thoughts on this?
You said all of my thoughts a while ago. Like, it's a super saksang because the animation was really good. Like, I think that's really the movie's strongest point. The visual language, the hidden jokes, the witty stuff in the background.
And
how
the
it was
character
made,
design mismo, no?
Yeah, the
Ganda
character
talaga.
design, like, visually, like, the animation, everything was good. And it's a good first entry of Philippine animation into the Netflix world. But I was super iffy about the story because I feel like since this is our first Netflix entry into international or at least Asia, they could have done a little better because, like, I feel like that plot has been overused. And, like, I know that the melodrama was a joke also, but for other people to be seeing, like, if this is their first impression of an animated Filipino movie, it might not always come across as right because they wouldn't understand it because not being part of our culture. So there, I just think that the story could have been better, and I hope to see animation like that with different stories.
It was really a choice to have a full-length animated film and then make it an adult animated film, right? That was just really interesting.
Mm-mm.
Si Prince, may masasabi ka rin ba about this?
Siguro all I can say is, I think Arby put it perfectly na it's unapologetically Filipino. As in, yun na yun. Like, it's perfect. Like, sobrang Pinoy yung Filipino and they don't care what you think about it. Because it's really, no matter what you think, Pinoy na Pinoy talaga siya. Pinoy yung pagkagawa, Pinoy yung pagkakatawan niya. And
Yung pagkabastos niya.
yung pagkabastos niya, it's authentic Pinoy. And okay, I know na it's the first Filipino Netflix animation, but I think about it kasi if they tried to make it, really good in a way, in a story na talagang I don't think it would a lot of Filipinos would watch it because they wouldn't understand. So I think they just went, the easy way na, okay, let's just make a familiar story that everyone knows because we know everyone will enjoy it naman. So ako talaga, I just enjoyed. I knew what I was going into. I knew I wasn't gonna appreciate it. Pero grabe, I was so amused na yung sobrang joke time lang talaga niya. Like, I would watch it for a good laugh. And visually, ang sobrang ganda niya. And, laugh trip lang siya. I would laugh, So I know we can be better than this. Pero if this is ito yung starting ground, sige lang, game lang. I know we can leap from here.
Yeah, I hope parang people don't really like just boycott it just because without trying to watch it. So, yeah. I mean, that's mainly my take on a lot of things na parang some people trash things even if they haven't seen it sometimes. Na parang for me it's nice to watch bad films and bad shows. Parang I don't know. It's just something to also like take in to consideration without just like commenting about it. It's just like I guess sharing a headline without reading the article, something like that.
In a way, yes.
Paula, do you have thoughts on that?
I haven't seen the film.
No, I
because
mean,
my
but
brother didn't like it, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
figured I wouldn't like it either.
Paula, swear, joke time lang siya. Kung gusto mo lang matawa, just go for it. It's an hour.
as in, it's like
I'll watch it like at the Netflix party with Arby.
sige, push i-schedule na natin
Pero
yan.
through the movie, makikilala mo ko.
game.
Sobrang joke
So,
time
if
talaga.
I may say, even though it's on Netflix, it's not available outside of Netflix PH. Because like I said nga, yung foreign
You found out because of the boylet.
Pwede.
At least we know what their territories are.
Yeah, so I've been telling Cholo, oh my God, tulungan mo ako maghanap ng pirated copy para I can give. Kasi hindi niya mapanood.
Mapupulis tayo dito,
Find
te.
foreign, pirated copy. Wala namang subtitles na
Time to cut.
I was like, I'll wait for you to visit me and then let's watch it.
Yes!
Kailangan pa matapos yung pandemya para
Sana
niya
all
mapanood yung
bibisitahin,
hayop
di
ka.
ba?
Hintayin na ni Arby Siberian Husky niya. Yan.
Ayun na, yung Siberian Husky ko. Pag
Nympha, ito na.
Ito na ang pagkakataon.
Ang ganda. Exciting things. Doon ako mas invested, guys.
Arby yung
Itong
moderator
hayop
ng
ka.
episode.
Itong hayop ka.
Oh my God. Pero yeah, super down.
Let's do that. And that ends our popcorns of the week. Not much to talk about, but we tried and we had a pretty good discussion. But of course, as our episodes go, we have our pop stop or our pop culture recommendations for the week. I will start with mine. First off, I watched Over the Moon, which is also on Netflix, and it was just beautiful, a delight to watch. It's a story about a girl wanting to figure out the legend of Chang'e, who's a Chinese mythological figure in relation to her family's problems. And it was just like one of the more original animated films that aren't Disney or any major studio that I've seen recently. And the music was great. The characters were so animated in a story point of view, very animated. And yeah, it's just beautiful to see and beautiful to hear at the same time. And Changa is my new gay icon. I would say that. You want to say something about that, Prince, ba? Before I
Wala lang. It's a very, in the way na Hayop Ka is sobrang joke time. Over the Moon is such a light film. Like, it's a light watch na something for kids will enjoy, parents will appreciate, and it's very fun. It's a fun. Maybe not the way fun Hayop Ka is, but it's fun.
It's fun, yeah.
It's fun. It's a fun watch. It's a fun watch.
Ang ganda rin na, we see Asian characters in the forefront of animated film as well. Although this is an American production, if I believe correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm here for John Cho singing. That's
yes.
Perfection. My God.
Great cast also. Who was there? Si John Cho was there. What's her name?
Sandra Oh was there.
Sandra Oh was there.
Philippa Sue was Changa.
So, it's great voices, great movie. If you just want something uplifting to watch.
Yeah, uplifting
this time. And next, Paul already mentioned this a few episodes back, maybe the last episode. But I finished The Promised Neverland on Netflix. It's an anime, and it was so good. I couldn't stop watching. I finished it so quickly, and it's just like we can't talk about what happens because you'll find out. But just watch it.
Seconded, very, very much so. I love that anime.
Okay, you want to go next?
I could go next. I haven't really been invested in new TV shows in quite some time. I don't know why, but this quarantine has actually stopped me from watching new shows. But a show that did catch my attention and literally did not stop catching my attention as in I stopped working because I was so invested in the show was The Queen's Gambit. Whoever said chess isn't sexy is seriously wrong. If you watch the show, you'll find out that chess is apparently a very, very sexy sport. And I actually haven't seen Emma, but dang it, afterwards pinanood ko siya kaagad because Anya Taylor-Joy is a brilliant actress. I can't even explain what makes her so good. It's like the way that she stares at the camera and it feels like she's staring right through your soul. Damn. I mean, even though she reminds me a little bit of Emma Stone every now and then, but she's great and the cast is so interesting. It's nice to see Harry Melling doing more things. I'm happy that he's like outgrown the role of Dudley and into these new characters. And Thomas Brody Sangster, who still looks young despite every effort that Netflix tries to make him look older.
He's Peter Pan.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. My grandfathers who love chess can't get enough of it. And it's a testament to what good storytelling can do to an otherwise seemingly boring sport. So I highly recommend The Queen's Gambit. And this Netflix series hasn't come out yet, but the trailer has come out recently. It's called Bridgerton. And if you're a fan of Downton Abbey, I can assure you this is something that you will want to watch. It's based off of the Julia Quinn series of the same name, the Bridgerton series. I would like to describe it as trashy period romance novels that I gobbled up as a teenager. If you like reading fanfics, this is basically the same thing. So those are good reads if you just want something fluffy and mind-numbing, I guess. And if you're into those period romances, because I know that's like a niche of people, it's definitely something to read and then look forward to when the show comes out, because one of the characters will be voiced by Julie Andrews, and who doesn't love Julie Andrews?
Oh my gosh.
And it is also a Shonda Rhimes series, so
Bang.
yeah, look out for that.
Okay, next person.
I can go next. I haven't seen Queen's Gambit yet. It's on my watch list, but I love Anya Taylor-Joy. I will watch her in anything. So I love her. I freaking love her. Like I've seen her in uh what's the last show? I saw her Emma. I've already caught up
Emma
with
was
her.
so good.
Emma, I've caught up with her in Peaky Blinders.
Yes.
Tomorrow I'm gonna watch New Mutants. I know it's gonna suck, but I will watch it for her because I love her.
Have you seen The Miniaturist?
Not yet. Okay, I will watch it.
Yeah, I want to watch that one too.
Okay. Okay. What the pop culture I've consumed the past week. Right now, I'm in the middle of binge watching all the old Survivor seasons. So I'm going all the way back to the beginning. So I just finished. What did I just finish? I just finished Exile Island, and wala, it's pretty good. Na I watched this as a kid, and I'm beginning to understand why it appeals so much. It teaches about cooperation, strategic thinking, and it's just for a show that's basically the same each season. Ang galing how it changes every little bit by the way how the players play. So na-amuse ako. So as long as there's nothing new to watch, I will keep watching Survivor.
And they're like what, 42 seasons?
There's 40
so
seasons.
many
There's
seasons.
season 40. I'm about to watch 13, so I'm excited. Anyway, and for recommendation, next week or in a few days, it's The Crown
The
season
Crown.
4.
The
Okay,
Crown.
Crown season 4. Okay, that's all my recommendation. I will drop everything. I'll drop work just so I can finish. Crown
I
season
heard
4.
Jeremiah is
Okay.
taking a leave to watch The Crown.
Yes.
Not
yes.
for The Crown, but
Well,
it's going
he's
to
having a-
coincide with it.
Yeah. Okay, it's for the wisdom tooth. Just so
The
happens. na
Crown for the Crown.
Okay, it's for the Crown. So the recommendation, The Crown. I've seen some preliminary reviews from headlines. They're calling it now the best season yet.
You
Oh.
can't
Wow.
tell me that,
But-
Burns, because my
but-
expectations are gonna skyrocket.
So I'm not gonna. I don't care if they say that because I'll believe what I see. But the fact na it's about Princess Diana
yeah.
and Margaret Thatcher, I already know the drama that's gonna go into it. So I will enjoy it no matter what. So can't wait for November 15.
Oh, my
So,
royalist
ready,
ass.
ready.
Okay. RB?
I'm not sure because I've not checked kung kailan to lumabas, but recently I've been binge watching The Boys.
The boys.
Yes.
Joke. Joke namin yun yung mga kapatid ko. Grabe. As in, sobrang kadiri, sobrang jologs, no? Anyway, on brand. But yeah, I started watching The Boys. My foreign boylet and my brother recommended it to me, and I started watching it 2 weeks ago. I'm on season 2 na. Nako si Prince.
Si Prince mawawala rin.
Second strike.
But if you guys haven't watched The Boys, the premise is it's about superheroes. At first, I thought na people were just recommending it to me because I love MCU. I'm kind of also following DCU, the DC Extended Universe. But oh man, it was so different pala. Like The Boys, oh my god, it reminded me of corporate, of government, and maybe what it would be like if naging artista ka. Yeah, that's how The Boys is like.
Gets.
Diba? Like, as in, behind these superheroes, meron palang politics involved among them. And then there's also facades na they're not who you think they are or how the media shows them to be. Tapos at the same time, it's super corporate because you see this marketing team that's behind these superheroes, like telling them, okay, if you do this now, parang your rating will go up by this much, and then this parang ganito magiging impact mo on Twitter. People will start talking about you, and I was like, oh my god, sobrang kadiri, but at the same time, super true to life. True to life.
True.
It's R18, sobrang daming violence. Like, I think every episode my
First minute pa lang nung episode
as in,
1 eh.
shock ako, but then from that minute, I was hooked already. The first minute, I was like, oh my God, pwede pala yun. And then tuloy-tuloy na siya. So I got hooked. And, this is for everybody who wants to watch it but hasn't decided yet. Like, you will love to hate Homelander. I love to hate Homelander. He's one of the main heroes of the show. So there are 7 heroes there, and then yeah, he's the main hero. He's like the Captain America slash Superman.
Yeah,
But
I just want to punch him. Like,
yeah, ang galing ng actor. Like that's what my brother and I were talking about. Like the actor is really good. Like he's so good at portraying someone you hate so much. I'm sure that the actor is a nice person in real life.
yeah.
Sabi, ang galing. I hate him. I hate him.
I saw this tweet that was like Steve Rogers, who is just back there, by the way. Steve
Crush ko
Steve
siya.
Rogers is what America thinks they are, and
Yeah.
then Homelander is who America actually is.
Oh my God, yeah. Tapos at the same time, ito na sensitive topic to. So, my foreign boylet is American. And then, di ba, US elections. I like my foreign boylet talaga. Anyway, I told him, kasi nandun ako sa part of the season where parang sige, anyway, parang, let me just compare it to Iron Man na lang. Di ba in Iron Man, parang in Iron Man 2, parang, in Iron Man 2, parang may mga conspiracy theories na apparently Stark Industries is just making weapons to sell to terrorists so that terrorists could keep on the war so that the US Army would have someone to fight. And then, circular siya kasi if there's always a war, then Stark Industries would always have someone to supply weapons to. So they'll always...
Okay, and the storm is slowly taking us one by
So may
one.
ganong premise in the boys. I just won't, specify kung ano.
There's just so
But
much
yeah.
things to watch, honestly. I feel like I could live my life
Wait!
just
Hello?
going.
Am I choppy pa rin? Kasi I really want to make
Yes.
this point
Yeah.
talaga.
You're stuck.
Oh,
And
no.
she's gone.
Yeah, I feel like just listing down everyone has recommended since episode 1, I would have as much content to watch for the rest of my life. Right, Paul?
There was that
Let me prepare
Emmy
you for
series.
Christmas.
Yeah, there was that Emmy opening sequence with gosh, what's his name? Can't believe I forget his name. Andy Samberg, where he just locked himself in a bunker for an entire year just watching television, and he still couldn't catch up. Like I feel like that's the situation.
I wish I
today.
could do that,
Okay, RB, gumagalaw ko na ulit.
Ayun na nga, sorry. I was changed
Arby,
to
kung
my hot.
andyan ka.
Parang
I just
dam-
wanted to finish the point off on how parang I'm comparing it to Stark Industries, and Stark Industries keeps on making weapons, and then they keep supplying to terrorists so that there'll always be a war, and then the terrorists will always, and then the army would always have someone to fight and someone to fund them, etc. May ganong premise in The Boys. And then I told my American boylet about this, and I told them, I can't believe that. I feel like the US is just making sure that there's always a war to fight in Iraq.
Oh,
So that they
definitely.
would always have to send their boys there, so that the government would always fund the US Army, and so that you would always have a reason to make weapons and to sell weapons to the people in the Middle East. And then my foreign boy that was like, that's really sad that someone like you would think of that. You're smart and then you're an outsider, and it's just hard to swallow that people outside of the US think about the US like that. And I told him, yeah, I apologized. I was like, I'm sorry if this is a misconception because I'm someone from outside. But he's like, no, actually, your point is very valid. If that's the way that we seem, if that's the way America looks to other people, then it must be a valid point because perspective is reality. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. So anyway, sometimes naman hindi ako jolog, tapos may mga ganitong insights. Pero
Embrace the Jolog.
The duality of man.
Embrace the
Ako
versatility.
Arby Cuevas.
Ganon.
Ang ganda.
Okay, and lastly, Max.
I'm about to prepare all of you for Christmas. So I love those cheesy Hallmark feel good happy Christmas movies, and I like how a lot of movies of this type are on Netflix. So first of all, the sequel to Princess Switch with Vanessa Hudgens is coming out at the end of the month. So they're bringing in a third Vanessa Hudgens. I
Oh
think
my
she's the cousin-
gosh.
she's the cousin of the royal Vanessa Hudgens. So it looks like it's going to be interesting because honestly, when I heard that there would be a sequel, I was kind of scared. Like, I'd watch it anyway because like I love the first one. It's so feel good. But then like when I heard about a sequel, I was like, what are they gonna do? And then I see the trailer and they bring in Vanessa Hudgens and she's blonde and a completely different character. So I'm like, okay, we have to see this. I'm so excited. I want to see where this goes. And then
I mean,
another
sometimes you just can't help but enjoy dumb movies, honestly. And Netflix is part of this equation now. And they put out all of these movies like The Christmas Prince and
Oh, I
Princess
love the
I
Christmas
love
Prince
I
though.
love the Christmas
Christmas Prince was straight up a Hallmark movie, and I love
Exactly.
myself
I
a
love
Hallmark
it.
movie.
This is my genre. This is my brand. So anyway, there's this one that just came out. It was called Midnight at the Magnolia, and it was also so Christmas. So what happened there is there were these two best friends. Like they were best friends since they were kids, and then they co-host a radio show. Okay, so they both have their other partners because of course, but that's like Hallmark formula. The two lovebirds have to have other partners they're with first. And then so this isn't a spoiler, both of their partners break up with them, but they promised that they would appear on New Year's to introduce their partners to their parents. So the guy was like, oh, what if we pretend we were in love this whole time and
Fake dating AU.
introduce each other to our parents? So that's where the story so that's how the story goes. It's a fun, really light watch, super Christmassy. I love it. Like if you just wanna if you just wanna relax, feel the Christmas vibes, feel a little colder than it actually is, it's the perfect movie. Light watching. Love it.
Sige, I will find some time to watch those. And The Christmas Prince. I haven't seen The Christmas Prince.
You have to. You have to marathon all three.
It's like a
May
fan.
anak na sila, di ba?
I didn't watch the third one now, but I watched like the first and the second.
Do yourself a favor.
Okay, and that is it for our show this week. Thank you to everyone for being here. Thanks, Max, Arby, Paula, and Prince, who has gone to his brown out. I hope everyone is safe at this time because of the weather and everything. Of course, Corona is still out there. Mr. Rona is still terrorizing the world. But thank you everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of Popcorn. Of course, all our old episodes are streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you stream your podcasts. And of course, we're here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Thank you to the Radyo Katipunan fam for always being there. All our video episodes are here. And you may follow us on social media. That's at Popcorn with Cholo, at Popcorn W Cholo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we will see you all next time for more popcorn and more pop culture. Thank you guys. Stay safe and see you soon. Bye.
This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Cholo Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.